Panther Nation, what's good? Trade deadline is looming. Will the Panthers make a move? Let's talk about it.
You are now tuned into the Panther Nation podcast.
Delone fires to an open Smith. Steve Smith is going to go all the way. No flags down. Smith scores, and the Carolina Panthers win in overtime.
Seal, he's intercepted by Kuechly. Kuechly inside the 20 to the 10 and to the end zone for another Panthers.
All right, Panther Nation. So the trade deadline is looming. It's November 3rd, same day as Election Day. I don't know why they did that. That's crazy to me. But the trade deadline is looming. And listen, there's a lot of mixed feelings from my perspective about what we should do. I hate to say it, but man, there's a lot of names being thrown out there, and you got to be really careful and you have to use context when you're talking about these trades. Okay, you can't just throw out a name and be like, oh yeah, that's a good trade target. We should go get him. Julio Jones pops up. Oh yeah, we should go get Julio Jones. Michael Thomas' name pops up in the trade talks. Oh, we should go get Michael Thomas. Well, no, that's great to have, but you got to think about realistically what the Panthers can and can't do. So when I'm looking at these trades, I'm looking at a bunch of factors. Okay, all right. So the first thing I'm looking at is age. All right, so the age of the player. Listen, we're in a youth movement. We're not going to go out and trade for a 32-year-old cat. There's a lot of 32-year-old defensive ends out there being talked about. And listen, I don't think that's going to happen. We're not going to see any of that. So you got to look at it realistically. So you could take off Everson Griffin. You could take off Carlos Dunlap. Those are some guys we're not gonna take a look at them because of age. Yes, we do have a need for defensive ends, but we're not gonna go out and trade for a 32-year-old person. That's just not gonna happen. We're not gonna do it. You gotta look at what's happening. Look how many young guys we have on our defense right now. Jeremy Chin, Derek Brown. You got Troy Pride. You gotta let those guys play. Yetur Gross-Matos. They're letting them play early, and that's how you build your defense. That's how you build confidence in your young guys, by letting them play. Going out and get a 32-year-old veteran and then letting them play in front of your rookies, especially when they're healthy, is no bueno. You don't want to do that. Okay, so age is the first thing I'm looking at. So we just marked out a couple guys that are rumored guys that are out there. Second thing I'm looking at is contract value. Okay, so if a guy, when you trade for a player, you're going to assume their contract, okay? So if a guy's getting paid $6 million or something like that, for instance, we'll take Everson Griffin. Everson Griffin for the Cowboys, he has a $6 million cap hit right now, or $6 million salary. We're going to assume that salary. Can the Panthers afford that salary? So yeah, no, that's going to take out Julio Jones, it's going to take out Michael Thomas, and some of these other rumored wild names that people are throwing out there, okay? You have to look at what's going to happen realistically. So another thing we're going to look at is position, right? So yes, we know Tahir Whitehead is not working out, okay? Are we going to go and get a middle linebacker? For what? Why would we go out right now and trade for a middle linebacker? What difference does it make? If we're not in position to win a Super Bowl right now, you make trades when you're close. That's why you see the Bucs. The Bucs are out here making trades. They're out here trying to shore up their defense. Vita Vea goes down. They go out and get one of the guys from the Jets. That's when you make trades, when you're close. You don't make trades when you're 2-3 years away, unless it makes sense, okay? And there's a player that makes sense. There's a player where it makes sense. But some of these other guys, it just doesn't make sense right now, okay? And so you don't go out there and trade just to trade. So there's one player where it does make sense, and that's Quinnen Williams, okay? The Jets have been on and off and off and on, and there's rumors flying around everywhere about Quinnen Williams and whether Quinnen Williams is up for trade or not, and whether they're quote unquote shopping him, or whatever the case may be. I don't know what the deal is, but for me, where there's smoke, there's fire. Okay, where there's smoke, there's fire. I really do think they're going to listen to all offers that come for Quinnen Williams. They are on a complete rebuild. They are trashing everything they have, and they're essentially doing what the Jaguars did and what Miami did last year. Miami did it last year, and the Jaguars started this year. They're trading all their assets, they're getting draft picks, and they're just going to start over. It works. I mean, it takes some time, but sometimes it works, and sometimes you got to get rid of some of your younger players. Now, if I'm a Jets fan, or I would hate for them to get rid of Quinnen Williams. Okay, I don't want them to get rid of Quinnen, but it just is what it is. Okay, so but Quinnen Williams is a trade that makes sense. Okay, Quinnen Williams right now is in the second year of his contract. Okay, he's on a rookie deal. He's in the second year of his contract, which means that he has 2 years left on his rookie deal. He still has 2 years left on his rookie deal, and since he was drafted in the first round, you get a 5th-year option that comes with Quinnen Williams. Okay, so we can let him play out his 2 years and then tag him at the end of his contract. Okay, he's only 22 years old, so that meets the age requirements. He's 22 years old. We're in a youth movement. He fits perfectly. You pair him up beside Derek Brown, and you got your Auburn, Alabama tandem right there. Okay, those two dudes are absolute beasts. They were beasts in college, and Derek Brown has shown a lot of flashes. Quinnen Williams last year showed some flashes. He had a high ankle issue last year, but he's starting to come into his own right now. He leads all interior defensive linemen with 18 stops, according to Pro Football Focus. He's tied for 4th amongst all interior defensive linemen with 17 tackles against the run, which is where we need the help because God knows we're awful against the run. He's also 3rd in run stop percentage, 12.2% among interior defenders. Okay, so that's great stats, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful news, exactly what we need, especially moving forward. We don't have the long-term answer. Okay, we have Zach Kerr signed through next year. So Zach Kerr will be on the roster next year. And we have Derek Brown. I expect K'Wan Short to move on. Okay, I expect us to cut K'Wan Short next season, save us about $20 million. I think it's $10 to $20 million in cap space next year, and it's a great thing that if we go out and sign a trade for Quinnen Williams. Now, what will we give up for Quinnen Williams? That's the thing, and I don't know. Okay, I don't know what we're gonna give up because listen, Quinnen Williams, the Jets, they're not in a rebuild. They're gonna take the most they can get. Okay, they're gonna shoot high. They're gonna aim for the stars. They're not just gonna give them up for nothing. Okay, and it's been said that they're not just gonna give them up for a 2nd-round pick. So it's gonna take more than a 2nd-round pick, maybe a couple 2nd-round picks. If I'm the Panthers, I would not mind offering up 2 2nd-round picks, one for this year, one for next year, 2021 2nd-round pick as well. I wouldn't mind doing that. A 1st-round pick is really tough. Being that the Panthers are in the middle of a rebuild/retool, I would hate to give up a 1st-round pick, but I would probably do it. Okay, I would probably do it if I can get another pick, maybe a later round pick in return. So let's say we say let's give up a 2020 1st-round pick. Hopefully it ends up being a mid-round pick. If it's a mid-round pick, great. If it's a top 10 pick, I'd be pissed. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, and that's what makes this trade risky. Because if we end up being bad and end up with a top 10 pick, I don't know. That just makes my skin crawl a little bit. I don't know about that one. But if it ends up being a middle round pick, maybe from 15, if it's from 15 to maybe 20 or something like that, maybe like 13 to 20, I might be okay. I would be okay with it because at the end of the day, what kind of return are you gonna get from a top 15 pick? I would expect that you would get that out of Quinnen Williams. Okay, I would prefer it be maybe 2 2nd-round picks, a 2nd-round pick for this year and a 2021 2nd-round pick. I would do that in a heartbeat for Quinnen Williams. I think he's a game changer. You see it in his run stats. Just listen to Pro Football Focus, how they have it set up. I think he's ranked number 34 in Pro Football Focus for interior defensive lineman. So he's really good. Okay, he's a really good player, and I think there's a lot. Again, he's super young, and that's what I like about this. He's really young, in the middle of his contract year. So if we're gonna make a trade, that's gonna be the trade I want. Listen, I know we have gaps, we have cornerback issues, we have middle linebacker issues, but I'm standing pat. Okay, Rome was not built in a day. It wasn't built overnight. So we have to just sit back. This is the kind of season we expected. We're 3-4 right now. Let's just sit back and relax. Let's take this season for what it is, and let's not panic and try to go out and get a whole bunch of guys, a bunch of old guys that are kind of over the hill. J.J. Watt, for instance, great player, but listen, there's no point. We're gonna be making our push in 2 to 3 years. Okay, in 2 to 3 years, we're making our playoff/Super Bowl push. That's when we need to have guys in their peak. Okay, So, for example, Quinnen Williams would be in his 5th-year option in the 3rd year, in 3 more years. Okay, so that's when we need to peak, and that's when we need our young guys to be their greatest. Okay, so that's the kind of guys I'm looking for. I'm not looking to get over the hill guys. Let's relax on trying to get those guys. They're great. It sounds nice, but let's just let the rebuild proceed, and we don't need to panic. Don't panic, okay? Just because a hot name comes out, let's just relax, okay? Now, what should we do for our players? Maybe there's some guys on our roster that we should trade out for some additional picks. Maybe that'll help us move and groove in the draft next year. Listen, everybody's saying Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel's been a hot name that's potentially been on the block. We tried to trade Seth Roberts, no takers, so he ended up going to the Packers practice squad. So, are there other guys on our roster that we could potentially trade off? Okay, now there's one guy I would look to move from on our roster, and that's probably going to be Will Grier. Will Grier is a guy that is, I don't think he's in a long-term plan for the Panthers. And there's some teams out there that need a quarterback, and one of them being the Cowboys. I will call up the Cowboys and say, hey, man, we got a solid quarterback. He's better than what you got on your roster right now. Obviously, Andy Dalton got a concussion. Dak Prescott is hurt. They need a quarterback really bad. And we have a pretty decent backup in Will Grier that could potentially help them out. It could help them out, and I think it's a win-win for both teams. I think I don't know. It'd be a pick. It'd be a late pick, probably maybe a 4th, 5th round pick for Will Grier, something like, I don't know. I'm just making something off the top of my head, but I think it's somebody that we could potentially use as trade bait right now. We can use him. I don't think he's providing any value to the roster as a backup. I think we have PJ Walker for that, just in case something happens. And we could roll with 2 quarterbacks, pick somebody else up off the street for a 3rd quarterback just in case. But I think that was the intention of when we drafted Will Grier. Like Tepper said, quarterback's a currency. So he's a guy that I would use to try to trade, maybe get something back for him. Maybe pair that pick up, use that pick to package up and go get Quinnen Williams. You never know. But that's one guy I would look to move. That's really about it on our roster. Again, I think for some reason, Curtis Samuel is sticking. And again, I hope he sticks around long term. I just don't see how it happens. He's in a contract year. We got to figure something out. No talks are being made. No talks are being done right now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Curtis Samuel. But so that being said, that's what I got for the trade deadline, man. Listen, I know a lot of y'all get excited when y'all see these names pop up, but Quinnen Williams is really the only one I would make a run at. Outside of that, I'm not looking to patch up nothing short term. There's no point. I mean, if we just so happen to make the playoffs, that'd be great. That's a cherry on top, but nobody would expect that. And I'm not looking for us to sacrifice any kind of short term, I'm not looking for us to sacrifice the long term for a short term gain and trading for somebody. We just need to work with what we got, play the young guys. For instance, Tahir Whitehead, not playing well. Play a Darius Glenn. Play Jermaine Carter. We need to figure out what we have. There's no better time to figure out what you have in your youth than right now in the build. You never know. You might have a diamond in the rough on your squad. Let the young guys play. The answer might be on the roster, okay? That's what I would do. Pumping the brakes. I'm playing what we got. Unless it's Quinnen Williams. Go get Quinnen Williams. Outside of that, I'm chilling. That being said, make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one, all right? Peace.